Okay, so I'm going to talk about a concept that might kind of confuse you at the beginning, but the more you kind of hear it, the better you will kind of understand. Now, in video games, the things that you see are actually empty shells. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I have this cube. Now, you see this cube, I mean this rectangle, or a rectangular prism, it doesn't really matter what you say, but basically, the thing that you see is an empty shell, meaning that there is no role that it can interact or play in the environment just with this visuals. Now, then you would say, well, that's not basically true. When I interact, I can step on this rectangle, prism. I can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. I can jump, I can land, I can walk around it. What are you talking about, right? Yeah, you're right in that matter. But I'm going to show you what actually makes you have the ability to interact with this rectangular prism, okay? So, the reason why you can interact with this rectangle is not just because you can actually see this rectangular prism, it's because it has a thing called a component. So take a look into your inspector. Now these guys, what you see as, well, there are four components in this rectangular prism. These components make you interact with the entire rectangular prism. Now, if you remove any of these components, it will kind of make you can be convinced that this is merely an empty shell. For example, let me remove this component. This is called a box collider. The actual component that lets you interact with this rectangular prism. Now, let me just try and remove this, and let's see how we can interact with this rectangular prism. Now, so far, it's all right. Now, let me jump. Now, what just happened? I kind of, the box is invisible now. I can't land, I can't jump. As you can see, I just go straight through. Now let me remove another component. Actually, the thing that lets you see this rectangular prism is because of this component, the mesh renderer component. It lets you interact with your site, right? Now let's say I turn this off. Immediately it becomes invisible, but what's left? This position, this state where I can move its position, I can rotate it. I just cannot see it. It's just invisible. Now turn on this mesh renderer. Now I see the cube. I see the rectangular prism. Basically, what I'm trying to get to this is everything that lets you interact within the video game, it's all comprised of components. Okay? And this is not limited to Unity. Basically, any type of game engine depends on this feature called components. All right, let me just kind of put the box collider as well. Okay. So, in the next video, we're going to talk about how we can edit, or how we can add our own components inside of Unity to make other game objects have other special features as well.